I appreciate y'all coming very much. For the past 10 years or so, one of the main cases that we've had open was a rape that occurred in 2012, and that code case is something that's, I'll say, haunted us a little bit in the sense that we really wanted to solve that case. And on the 4th of July, when we had the kidnapping and abduction in Chocolat, we actually, me and Captain Stone here, actually before we even got to the scene, referenced that case of 2012 about how the similarities kind of coincided. Because the attack in 2012 was in July, where a woman was followed home from the Dollar General in the local area, followed to her house. She was attacked, raped. We had obtained DNA from that case. We had no leads. It was just a cold case. Then the next July, the same thing happened in Talladega County, where a woman was followed home and attacked in her house. Then the case went cold. That was 2012 for ours, 2013 in Talladega County. Then for 9 years, we've had nothing. But we've had a artistic drawing done, and that artistic drawing has been in our offices all the way up until July 4th, a couple of weeks ago. And we have it to memory. And in the Talladega case, Talladega also had received DNA, and those two cases were linked previously by the same DNA. We know that whoever perpetrated both of those crimes in 2012 and 2013 was the same person. But there was never a CODIS yet. And I'll have Captain Stone talk about a little bit about DNA and what's transpiring. And then we'll come back and answer some more questions. But I do have with me Eric Snyder with the DA's office, Assistant DA, and First Assistant DA, Laura Phillips. And this is Captain Stone. Captain, you'll talk to him a little bit about the standard and what we've been testing for the DNA.
Just so everybody knows, when somebody's arrested in our jail for violent crimes or felony crimes, we take their DNA and we submit it to the Alabama Department of Forensic Science, and then it's analyzed from that point, and it's put into a database called CODIS, which is basically a DNA database. And so our previous cases from 2012 and 2013, the Talladega case, they're in CODIS. Mr. White, when he was arrested, his DNA was collected at the time of his arrest and submitted to the Alabama Department of Forensic Science, and we got a hit linking his DNA to Miss Vaughn's case in the 2012 case that we had. So, any questions?
So is he also linked to Betty Cobb?
Well, DNA on that case is still being processed by the Department of Forensic Science. So we'll know at a later time whether or not there's any DNA evidence linking him to that case. But we have, even without DNA evidence, I believe that case stands on its own through evidence that we have. But his DNA has been linked to those other two cases.
One thing to make sure that we understand, the technicalities of what goes on is we have to rely on our attorneys, which is our district attorney's office, to make sure that we're guided through, to make sure, which is what's most important, is a successful prosecution of this person. There's still a lot of work being done behind the scenes. This case isn't over. There's a lot of investigative work. There's a lot of lab analysis that has to be done on evidence. We all get spoiled from watching Criminal Minds, which is a show that I love as well, but everything can't be done in 30 minutes. And what we have here is a preliminary hit through CODIS. The evidence of Betty Cobb's going to have to be analyzed, and that will take some months for that to happen. We're just really glad to know that we got this guy off the street. I wish we could have done it in 2012. It would have saved some heartache, and we're sad about that, but we did everything we knew to do at the time, and we're just really excited about it. But I would like to give the DA's office a chance to speak on this case and the wonderful work they've done in helping us with it.
Thanks, Sheriff. My name is Eric Schneider. I'm Assistant DA. Myself, along with First Assistant Laura Phillips, will be prosecuting the case. Tony White is set for a preliminary hearing this coming Monday at 1:30. Right now, the bond is set at approximately $4 million. At that time, we'll be moving under Anaya's law to seek to have a no bond, given the threat this man poses in our community. This predator has been living in our community, and we'll be asking the court at that time for a no bond under Anaya's law. He has been charged with rape first degree, sodomy first degree, and burglary first degree, and kidnapping, which are all Class A felonies in the state of Alabama. It is our intent to seek the maximum punishment under the law for this individual and see that he is never on our streets again, to keep our public safe. I would like to thank the Sheriff's Office and all the agencies involved. I think the Sheriff referenced earlier, this is just the beginning for us in our case. And we're going to see it through to the end and ensure that justice is served for our victims. Thank you.
That drawing right there was made in 2012 or 2013, and this is Tony Lamar White that's been linked to these two cases in 2012 and 2013 through preliminary DNA results. I think it's important to also notate that Captain Stone here was the original investigator on the case we had in 2012, and this is something that's been very important to him. He's never let go. He would talk to the victim every year. He would check in with her up until her death, and so our victim passed away in 2017, but it's still an ongoing investigation, and we're going to do the best we can to make sure we bring justice to her and any other victims that are out there. So does anybody have any questions?
Is White back in Alabama?
He is back in Alabama. He's in our facility at this point in time, and as ADA Snyder said, that there'll be a preliminary hearing Monday at 1:30 in our courthouse.
Is he being cooperative?
No, he hasn't made any phone calls. He hasn't talked to anybody. He's just to himself. Me personally, I would like to know the whys. I'm as sure as I think all the public would, and y'all would want to know. I want to know. There's a lot of questions I have. I don't know if we'll ever get the answer to those questions, but if we do, and when we can, we will share those. Why somebody would do something so terrible, I don't know. It's just hard for me to wrap my mind around, but I would like to know those answers, but he hasn't given us any of those answers so far.
Has he been connected to anything outside of Calhoun County? Or anybody calling y'all asking for information on this case?
Not yet. Not yet. We haven't had anybody from outside, and if there were any other victims linked to his DNA, it would have showed up in this preliminary search. It would have showed up in CODIS, and right now we don't have any other DNA on file that matches up to him.
Has his wife been cooperative with you all?
He's not married. He's not married. He has an ex-wife, and she is very cooperative. Seems to be a good person.
What about the victim's family of the victims in 2012? Have they been notified?
They have. That's one reason we found this out yesterday. And while y'all are a very important piece of the puzzle, the families are even, the victims are more important. So we made sure that they were all notified before we told y'all anything, and that was one reason why I wouldn't talk to anybody about it before today, because I think it's very appropriate for them to be notified first, not to forget about them. And I know that viewers can't see it, but behind y'all are the men and women who make the work happen. They're the ones who solve this case. They're the ones that work diligently. And, I'm just the one that's blessed to get up here and talk to y'all. But they're the ones that are the worker bees, and they're the ones that do all the great work. And I can't tell you how proud I am of them. How proud I am to be able to work with them, because they care for people. This was a bad crime, but It was July the 4th, and nobody questioned anything. Everybody come out and worked, and they'd do it again in a heartbeat because they care about people. And so I'm really proud of them and this organization, and they make me look good. So my hat's off to the men and women that work here.
Without today's technology, do you feel like you would have apprehended this guy?
I think we would have, but I think it would have been longer. We'll talk specifically on July the 4th. You know, we got to be careful here because my job is to give information, but my job is not to teach criminals how not to get caught. But with that, technology played a big role in us catching White as quickly as we did. And there's some things in Alabama law that need to change that would be more protective of citizens, and we're going to work on that. But you know, the thing about technology is money. You got to have the money to do that, and there's got to be ways to fund those type things. And I can't to go on record again. You know, the mayor and city council of the city of Oxford, my hat's off to them. They have invested in their police department. They've invested in their city, and with the EMAC, the East Alabama Metro Crime Center, Area Crime Center, they have done some amazing stuff that played a significant role in catching Tony White and catching him quickly. Nothing replaces law enforcement boots on the ground, but what they have and what they did, they came in too. They brought their officers in too on the 4th of July, and they were having a big event. And so, you know, my hat's off to Chief Partridge for his vision, and for the city council of believing in him and investing in that money, because it saved Ms. Cobb's life. And there's no telling how many other people's lives it will save. We just need everybody to understand that and invest in that technology.
The Unveils law, Unveils Blanchard, that was formed after, is this the first time they used that, any municipality has used it to keep these guys off the street, or do you know?
I don't know about whoever's used Unveils law, but I think it's the first time we've ever used it. But I'm thankful that it's there. You know, I hate that it had to be made, but I don't know if it's been used anywhere.
In our jurisdiction, my understanding is the first time it's going to be, we'll be making a motion under Nye's law for a no bond.
Can you kind of explain that along, and how helpful it is right now?
Yes, I mean, right now he has a monetary bond set at $4 million, which he can make that bond, and he could be potentially released if he made the high bond. Under Nye's law, with predators, if we have Monday, we'll have a probable cause hearing, and the judge finds probable cause to bind it over and finds that he is a threat and predatory nature, we can ask for a no bond under that law.
I've spoken with the defense attorney in this case, and she says that she's seeking that that the bond be lowered. How confident are you that that won't happen?
I'm confident we can put forth a good case to show him the probable cause and hopefully get the no bond.
Do these charges stem from the current case, or these from the cold cases as well?
These are the current case.
I'd like to explain a little bit about it. The preliminary hit that we had in CODIS, there's things that we have to do to move forward in this older case, to move forward on it. There's work to be done on it. You know, so the preliminary hit is there. We'll have to do some other work to solidify everything that we have. So it's a process, and you know, we'll work that process because we want to make sure that our case is strong enough that it don't matter what somebody asks for, that he ain't getting out of jail. And people need to understand, people don't understand about bonds, but in the U.S. Constitution, we talk a lot of times about the Second Amendment and rights. Well, in the Constitution, people have a right to a reasonable bail. So people say, why'd you let them out? Well, it's in the Constitution that people have a right to a bond. Well, reasonable, and we have a good case, and we think that it'll stand whether there's DNA or not for Ms. Cobb, that we know that we'll be able to do what we need to do to prosecute this case, and we're going to make sure he doesn't get out of jail.
How is Ms. Cobb doing?
I haven't talked to her this week, but you can only imagine, you know, what somebody would be going through. You know, she needs our prayers and our support, and she's a good woman. You know, I hate what happened to her.
I noticed that you've placed a rape aggression defense course on the list of events for the Calhoun County for your office. Does that have anything to do with this case?
No, ma'am, we've had, every quarter, we teach a Citizens Firearms Academy. We've done that since 1995 or six. Probably 5 or 6 years ago, we started, this is a nationally recognized program. It's called RAD, Rape Aggression Defense. It's not something we put together. It's something we bought. We send people to become trained instructors. And we, during COVID, we hadn't did it, but we try to hold that every quarter as well. So we just started back since we've gotten off the COVID. And we're holding that class right now. And you know, to be honest with you, my mother's in it, my daughter's in it, I have some other people that are in it. My mother's taken it more than once. So it's a nationally recognized program, and you know, it's my job to try to protect people and to also inform and instruct people how to take care of themselves. So that's what we're trying to do, but it just happened to coincide with this. It was already planned. But you know, as sheriff, as a district attorney, we want to provide services to everybody here so they can be safer and so that we have a good community. We're really excited about these hits. Talladega County are going to be working theirs on separate. I've been in contact with the sheriff, Jimmy Kilgore, and they're already working as well. And they have some work to do, and when they get ready to make an announcement on theirs, they will. This is a preliminary DNA hit. There's still work to do, but we're happy to know that this guy is off the street.
Can you give us an estimate of what his other charges might come forward? Not yet?
I don't know. You know, we'll just have to. You know, it's a lot of work. A lot of work to do. We'll see what can happen. But we're going to do our best to make sure he doesn't get to live outside a prison wall with us, good citizens, ever again.
They spoke about the maximum sentence for Ms. Cobb's case. Can you give us a little bit of an idea what those that maximum sentence would be for those 4 charges?
On Class A felonies, it'd be 10 to 99 years.
For each of them?
Yes.
Anything else? I really do appreciate y'all coming. I think it's important that the citizens of Calhoun County and the state of Alabama know this guy's behind bars and that you know, it's one less evil person on the streets. So I do appreciate you coming. Thank you for being attentive. And if you have any questions, let us know. Thank you.